Welcome back to Solitude and Sailing. In this episode, we're going to repair the head sail before installing it for the new season. So this is the jib sail that's on the roller furler for Chiron. And if you recall, last season there was an area where it was coming apart. What began as a little tear evolved into something much bigger as wind got underneath the fabric, pulling apart the stitching. And now it's time that we get in there and repair this head sail before even thinking about reinstalling it. So I'm going through and stitching it up by hand. The sail itself is pretty good. It's just this area right here with the green for the cosmetic that was coming apart. So down on the clew of the sail, this end here, it's really, really thick. And there's no way my machine will be able to go through it. So what I've been doing is by hand going in with the needle and just pushing through the holes that are already there. It's like a really hard material. I've already broken the needle and I'm just stitching it through, bringing the two pieces back together again. So it's not the prettiest job, but it's coming out. There's a project to do for today while sitting at home. Let's get to it. You gotta like squint and really try to see that little tiny eye of the needle. It's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than for a rich man to get into heaven, they say. Okay, so I'm gonna follow the same pattern that was on there before, because the material is too thick to try to puncture new holes. Plus also wanted to line up with what was there. This is hard stuff to go through. Nothing like making use of a little junior high home ec class. I remember making pillows back in junior high. Now we're using that skill to fix my sail. Some of you at home may be wondering why I didn't just drop this off at the sail maker at Quantum Sail or something like that. The whole point of it is to try to do as much as you can on your own. Additionally, there's the financial aspect of it. So for now, I'll try to see what I can do. Now we're on the face, joining the two seams back and forth. Now we're doing the middle, and I'm just following the pattern. So I'll go from one hole to the next, and then on the way back I'll go back and do the other side, which will make the stitch pattern. So right now I'm doing all of these all the way through, and then come back and go the opposite way, which will make the zigzag. Doing it by hand, following the holes that are already there. The jib is up. She's anchored at the bow, on the bow cleat. So that's why she's not opening up all the way. But we did that to secure it while raising it because it's kind of windy out. A little bit of wind today. We did good. She didn't go too crazy. My stitching is holding. Wow. Just sitting in here feels like sailing. Look at this. And of course, there's always an issue. There was a tangle in the line in the roller furler, so we could not furl the head sail. So we had to remove the head sail and try to figure out a way to unwind the furler and rewind it. So it's easier to do it without the sail on, especially so in such a windy day. enough with the furler for now. We moved on to raising the mainsail. This was a good time for my son to learn how to raise the mainsail on his own. And look at that beautiful sunset in the background. What a way to practice. Looking good so far. We got a little bit of a twist in the sail underneath the boom, but that's an easy fix. There you go. It's a lot of squeaking right now. Might be from the way the line is being wrapped around the winch, or maybe we just need to grease those winches. It's just a bit too much squeaking for me. She looks good, but I don't like that sag at the foot of the sail. So we had to tighten up the line on the clew a little bit, pull that out haul and tighten her up. Now she looks a little bit better. She looks good now. Ready to set sail. Well, it was a good thing that the Harken Fuller got tangled up, because I ended up realizing that I missed a spot when I was doing my handheld repair of the jib sail. So I took the sail home with me, and this time I'm gonna try to put that last section that I had missed initially. I'm gonna put it through the sewing machine, see what I can do. So this is some original stitching here, and this is where I did a handheld repair. And the area that I didn't get to that day, that I totally forgot about, and I realized it once the sail was up. So I'm gonna try to put this through the machine. Well, you can see my handheld didn't come out too bad, tracing the pattern. The other area is up higher, where I had finished, but this spot didn't finish. So we're gonna work on that now. So what I'm doing is, here's my test fabric. I mean, it's a little bit different, but it kind of feels, when I fold up this umbrella, it kind of feels the similar kind of thickness. I actually think the sail might be a little thinner. The other thing I gotta do different on this machine, might have to play with the tension again, is right now for the last job we were working on this pattern here. But for the sail, I think we're gonna use maybe number 4. This looks too tight. This looks a little bit wider. So I gotta play with it, play with my swatch, and make sure that I got the tension and the pattern done properly. I've never done that kind of pattern before. And then we'll test it out here and then apply it here. It's only one little section. By hand, I could bang that out in a little bit, but I want to test out the machine, check out my skills. I'm feeling a little more confident. Let's go. Voila. This is where I backstitched to tie it down. I don't like the way that came out, but this is the rest of that stitch. Let's see what the backside looks like. Ugh. Not bad. It's a little bit more narrow than that stitch. Bro, cut this line out. It's a little bit more narrow, but it's actually not bad. I'm gonna do that. Let's go. Let's get this thing on here. Well, she's done. It's not as wide as these, but it's done. All right, round 2. Raising the head sail. I was able to get a shackle from my toolbox at home for the base of the sail to hook up to the furler. Furler line's been corrected, and I think we're good to go now. Mainsail's on, cover's on. All right, let's get these cushions out. Beautiful day. Yeah, it's a nice cozy bed. Oh, sleeps good in there. Let the sea set you free. All right, so here's how it works. The jib halyard goes on here, and see how it spins freely. Then the jib sail gets clipped on this shackle, and then you see the grooves. You're gonna feed this through the grooves all the way up, right? So when you spin the Harken furler, it'll spin this pole, and since the sail is in the grooves, the sail will wrap around or wrap off of it. So the shackle I brought for the base doesn't fit, because remember I lost the pin on this one. So it's gonna be easier to just raise it now. I'll tie the sail down there and then get another size shackle, because the one I brought is too big. It won't fit through the hole. So there's not as much wind today as there was yesterday. We're gonna raise her up. All right, so I don't hear it squeaking like it was the other day. So I think it's just the way that the line was rubbing on itself. So with one arm I pull, and the other hand I pump my feet through it. Now we're up. I'm gonna go tighten her up. Yes, I have the head sail anchored at the forward cleat on the boat, on the bow. That's just to keep it from opening up all the way because of the wind. She is a pretty head sail. There's a little bit of wrinkles in there from the way it was stuffed in the sail bag. No good. Don't stuff your sail in the sail bag. Fold it nice and neat and put it away, or roll it nice and neat. Yes, my friends, we just did a tack at the dock. The wind shifted a tad, which caused me to need to put the head sail on the other side. Now we're gonna try to raise the mast at hyper speed. It really wasn't that windy, but it does pick up a little bit later. So for some reason, the mainsail kind of gets stuck right here. So I'm thinking at first I need to pull it a little bit harder. I didn't notice any tangles, so I go inside to grab the winch handle. But a good lesson is learned. Never force anything. Don't force that head sail. Don't force the mainsail. Don't force the furler. With a second glance, I realized where the tangle was and loosened it up, and just for good measure, I raised the mainsail by hand until it got near the very top when it needed to be tightened. She sure looks pretty. Now, remember when my son and I had to unwind and rewind the furler? Apparently, we wound it up backwards, and I take full responsibility for that, of course. So as you can see, the head sail is closed up the wrong way, so the green material's on the inside rather than the outside. This is a problem, so I had to undo the whole thing. So when I pull it, it's supposed to tighten up the sail, right? And when you pull the sheet, it spins opposite and releases the sail. But the way this is on, we twisted it on backwards. So when it spun the sail, it spun it the wrong way. I need the green on the outside. I need it to spin opposite. So I gotta unwind it all the way and rewind it the other way. All right, here's a test.
I needed to wrap the sail this way. It was wrapping it this way.
I hope you learned some new things as I did with the furler and getting the sails ready. We'll see you on the water. Don't forget to like and subscribe.